Hey, thought I'd do a little quick overview for Redeemer Enhanced Edition. I bought this game on Switch about 2 weeks ago, and it's quite an enjoyable game. I'm not sure how much I would have liked the original version, but they made a bunch of changes to rebalance the game. They also added some upgrades, which make the game pretty interesting. The moveset in this game is not very large, and I could see how it would definitely get repetitive just playing through the game. It's actually pretty long for this kind of beat 'em up type game. I think I played it for like maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 hours, a number of deaths, and the game was still like, I think it got like 70% through it. It has a lot of frame rate issues on the PC, not on the PC, but on the Switch, and it definitely gets to the point where it impacts your performance or like your ability to get through the game. So I talked to them on Twitter, and they said that they're going to be pushing an update out, I guess, sometime in the near future. It's not too bad. It's a relatively stable 30, maybe 25 FPS throughout most of the game, but it's common for like Unreal Engine games. As soon as it starts to get a little overboard with all the graphics settings and stuff like the fire and smoke, it's a lot like Dynasty Warriors 9 actually. As soon as there's things that aren't just plain flat terrain, it starts to really struggle. So, the game is very dependent on countering and things like that. So when the frame rate is really dropping that badly, it's very hard to react. But however, today they just dropped the enhanced edition update on PC, and the game is $1.50. So if you have a gaming PC and you want to check this game out, you should definitely take advantage of this. I'm not exactly sure how to lock it to 60 FPS. It's kind of weird how it's going on caps, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and start over.
It was supposed to be my 1000th morning.
So you have a basic like punch string, and then you have a kick string. And you have a dodge roll. Later on you can attack out of this, which is actually pretty useful because it closes a lot of distance. Like say the dude's over here, like just slightly off screen, you can dodge and attack. I can't do it right now because I don't have the ability to, but it definitely helps. So basically the way the string system works is you have 4 attacks and you can combine them in any way you want. Later on you can get a 5th attack through the upgrade system, so you could do like punch, 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 kick, or various combinations. So you counter by pushing L1. There's also unblockable attacks as well. You get that red circle to indicate that it's an unblockable. So I guess you could say it's a little bit like the Batman games, but you have a lot more control because the animations are the same every time. I know one of the biggest complaints about the Batman Arkham games is that he has a lot of animations that play out randomly, and it makes things feel really random. That's not an issue here. Pretty much whenever you tell him to punch, he'll punch in the same way. I'd say the only thing that's really random is if he does one of the finish animations, but you're invincible during those anyway, so it doesn't even matter. I will say later on, the biggest complaint I've had with this game is that it's pretty common with me, if you've known how many games I've played in the past, is that you get these mutant enemies, and they barely stagger to anything, and you really only have like one way that you can fight them. And I feel that feels like very artificial and boring. But there may be something that I'm missing there. Also, those levels on the Switch have a currently really bad frame rate, so that makes it difficult to react to them as well. So I was going to do a Switch port review series for this, but I talked to the developers and they're already going to be addressing the frame rate. So I figured it's not really the best idea to show the game in a bad state when they're already aware of it and they're trying to fix it. There's also like a Bloody Palace type thing that you unlock that's quite a bit of fun. It's definitely good for the, you know, the Switch scenario where you're outside and, you know, playing remotely and things like that. Also, for whatever reason, the Bloody Palace runs at 60 FPS because there's no environmental effects. So if you have the Switch version, then that's probably the best mode to play right now.
Get him! Face. Got it.
I think I missed a scroll over here. I need to talk about the upgrade system. Getting lost in this game does happen occasionally, but nowhere near as much as a lot of other these modern, like, European beat-em-ups. Like, for the most part, what you see was what you get. I do think they could have made the game a little shorter and probably would have had better replay value.
Everything they do to us, they do to themselves.
Okay, so here's the upgrades. So, unfortunately, some of this stuff was actually in the base game. I did play the base game off camera last month because I was just bored and I was able to get a good deal on it. Fortunately, I could have gotten an even better deal on it right now because they're selling it for $150 for whatever reason. But certain things like the dodge attack, those were available before. But there's some interesting stuff in here, like you can get a fifth attack in your combo. The charge attack is pretty good as well. The charge attack is actually great because it allows you to really close the distance and you can punish attacks very easily. Getting Fist as lightning, I'm not even sure if that does anything. I think it just increases your damage. It doesn't seem like they added any status effects or anything. Parry's dealing damage is pretty good. I have close to a maxed out Monk tree on the Switch version. Iframes on your dodges is obviously very good. So you have two trees. You have one for basically all your melee attacks and then the guns. The guns are obviously a little harder to upgrade because they don't have, you know, they're not permanently available. So let's go ahead and upgrade the pistol.
The traitor!
I will say, you know, a lot of these Western, like, European games, they all copy the Batman system. Usually somehow they make it even worse. But with this game, it's like they copied the core foundation of it, but they made it a lot more consistent, and there's no random crap. Like I said, I know a lot of people hate how, you know, sometimes Batman will just do a straight jab, and sometimes they'll do, like, this big, like, gap closer one, and you have, like, no control over it. That's not a problem here. Like, you push the button and he does the same thing every time, which is a pretty common thing that goes into a good beat-em-up, you know, having very little randomness in terms of what your player does, what the player character does.
There he is.
I like how they kind of fool you into thinking there's going to be a lot of, like, environmental pits and stuff, but I got pretty much close to the end of the game and it was never appeared again. They had to be really careful in that area. Now, I don't play shooters, I'm very terrible at them. I also get a little bit of motion sickness now that I'm getting older. But the shooting in this game is actually very good. Obviously, I'm not as well versed on shooting mechanics as, you know, melee combat mechanics, but it's very responsive. You pretty much just aim the right analog stick and shoot, and he will shoot over there. There is a little bit of an accuracy mechanic, but for the most part, if you aim in the general area, you'll hit them. So, that's pretty much the base mechanics. As you use these certain actions, you will level them up more. So, you definitely want to balance how much you use your punches and your kicks, because that will give you a lot more moveset variety. It also gives you a flat damage increase as well. See, like right now, I'm going to go ahead and unlock the charge attack first, because that's very important. And punches do more damage than kicks. See how it's a good punish there. It also knocks them down sometimes, so you can also use that to get a positional advantage. Anyway, that's basically it. The game is very solid. I'm definitely impressed that they took something that's been run into the ground, which is, you know, copying Arkham Combat verbatim. All the Western developers, that's basically the only way that they know how to do combat. But they took that formula and they actually refined it quite a bit so that you always feel like you're in control, which is very important in any action game, let alone a beat 'em up. I have played through maybe 60 to 70% of this game on the Switch, and then the frame rate just got too bad to continue. I will be doing a Switch port review series of the game when they get that patch out. I don't know when that will be. I'll probably play through this casually on the PC. In terms of performance, I mean, it seems like it's pretty fine. I think I have it maxed out right now. It's hovering around 120 to 144 FPS with all this stuff on. I'm sure I could probably lower it a little bit and probably get a capped 144, but pretty solid PC port. The Switch one I definitely recommend. I think this is a pretty good portable game, especially if they added the little Bloody Palace thing, but I'm not sure when that's going to be fixed. I think Unreal Engine 4 in general just runs really bad on the Switch, and it requires a lot of porting work. It's very much the same problem as the Switch version of Bloodstained. Like it tries to hit 30 FPS, but it very rarely does it. In the first couple levels, it's not bad at all, but then when you start getting into the flaming monastery and stuff, it gets like really bad. So I'm curious to see how they will fix it. I'll definitely let you guys know about that as soon as it happens. Thanks for watching. Peace. Oh, also, like I said, the game is $150 on Steam right now, so the other versions on consoles are like $30 right now, which I think is a little bit much for this game. I think it should be $15 to $20 would probably be fair. Replay value in this game seems a little bit weak. I don't think there's a New Game Plus or anything, so if you have a capable gaming PC, it doesn't seem like it's too hard to hit 60 FPS on this. It's available for $150, so definitely check it out. See you guys later.